Hello, civilized people. Did you know there is going to be a presidential debate tonight? But this isn't just a normal presidential debate. On the contrary, this is a presidential debate which does not involve a single presidential candidate and is going with a new 3-on-1 format. Technically 4-on-1, but who is counting? For the first time in recent presidential history, a presidential debate will occur before the nominations are made official at the respective party conventions. Additionally, because standards are so low for one of the candidates, what it involves the rather complex task of forming a coherent sentence without making up inane bullshit about their uncle being eaten by cannibals or laying the smackdown on corn pop. He is going to be joined by two additional debaters who are pretending to be moderators in an otherwise empty room to try and compare the other guy on his own to a certain famous Austrian painter. So lower your expectations. Give up on finding the bar. It is sunken so low at this point that it is melted in the very fires of hell. And prepare yourself to watch a debate with all the rationale and journalistic integrity of the WWE. Because today, on the Goss and Rome podcast, we are going to make the best of the situation and roast some marshmallows over the absolute dumpster fire which is the current state of the 2024 presidential debates. So, Colton, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to this. I always find it pretty fun, but I'm a weirdo that likes politics. How about you?
Yeah, uh, I'm still sort of dumbfounded that it's happening when it is. I mean, I get why it's happening. I get why the push from the Biden camp wanted it this early. But at the same point, like it's just dumbfounding some of the things that have been laid out for this. It is just hysterical. Um, yeah. And well, I didn't mention it in the intro, and I'm not sure if you've learned this yet. Um, CNN's fact checkers, who are themselves regularly fact checked and shown to be wrong, are going to be fact checking this debate live. So that's the fourth person that is going to be debating Trump.
That's rather annoying, but oh
I,
well.
um,
You know what I think the
it,
worst part is though?
what?
And you didn't mention it, but it's kind of like the just a symptom of the times, I suppose, is that the debate's going to have ad breaks for the first time in history.
Yeah, I think that's by design
No, yeah, I know, but
because
ugh.
uh, my honest opinion is I don't like I'm not trying to slight the guy when I say this. I'm just pointing at what I see. But I'm not like I think that on the Biden side of things, having him stand for 90 minutes would be difficult.
No, they've been allowed chairs.
I thought that had been denied. I thought Trump had vetoed that one.
He tried to, but they were like, "Yeah, this is happening, or it's the whole thing's canceled."
Jesus Christ.
Though I am imagining like in between every ad break, like like Mike Tyson in his corner, like a boxing corner, you know? They're just
Yeah.
wiping them down with sweat and spraying water all over their faces.
Yeah, it's a bit silly, but this is the state of the world, Colton. Isn't it happy?
I don't know about happy. It's interesting.
It's hilarious. Uh but yeah, so the long and the short of this is that the debate rules were by and large the what's the group that normally sets up the presidential debates? I can't remember
I wouldn't be
what
able
the
to
name.
name them.
Give me a second. The Commission on Presidential Debates, which is a non-profit, nonpartisan organization. They're actually a C3. So they are a true nonprofit. If you donate to them, like you get a tax uh, write-off. Like they are truly not involved in the political side of things. They
Hmm.
basically serve as, They host the negotiations on how they will occur. They're not involved this year at all. At all. The one reason they exist has been sidelined. And they themselves were, I believe, they replaced, I think it used to be the Daughters of the Revolution who managed setting up the primary debates. Well, not the primary debates, but the general election debates. So and they sort of got kicked to the side whenever they let Perot on the stage. But speaking of which, Kennedy did not make the cutoff to be in this. He failed to poll at 15% in polls that were deemed quality by CNN.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah, uh, I I have very real suspicions that Biden would not have debated if Kennedy was in it,
Uh,
because Kennedy is eating into Biden far more than he is eating into Trump.
this is gonna be an unpopular take, but if all of three of those men were on the stage together, that would be so exhausting to listen to.
I mean, to be fair, it might actually make the debate a little more fair because instead of the three and technically 4-on-1, it would be three and technically 4-on-2 because they're just as hostile to Kennedy.
No, yeah, I'm just saying on behalf of Biden's in not able to constructing sentences, Trump's runoffs, and then if Kennedy were there, then his thing.
His speech issues,
Yeah. Oh,
that
I
that would be it would be pretty troublesome by the end. I'll admit it.
I'm not gonna call them issues just because he can speak. It just
Yes,
takes a minute.
and yeah,
But compared to one of the other candidates on stage,
maybe maybe Biden will miss it because he's saving Nelson Mandela from prison again,
starting another timeline.
starting another timeline. But
uh,
yeah, this has gotten absolutely silly. Uh, and part of the reason why we cite CNN in this is that the two moderators are individuals who have in no way acted as independent, nonpartisan journalists. Both Bash and Tapper have just within the last few months made numerous comparisons of Orange Man to aforementioned Austrian painter. And first off, that is just always a terrible look for whoever's making that argument more than anything. And yeah, it really removes a lot of credibility from someone in the media whenever they say stuff like that. And it's already occurring on a network that is already seen as overwhelmingly biased, even amongst its own viewers. So, yeah. So essentially, this is, you know, Trump versus CNN and Trump versus Biden live on national television. God help us.
it really, it's
So, you know, we don't want this to go on too long because we want to get this up before the debates start. But basically, I believe there's like a total of 9 questions that we have here that I guess we're both going to take stabs at. And the first one is, as a consultant, business or political, how would you advise CNN ahead of this debate?
man, you're
Colton?
really handing me that first off. Oh man.
Yes, yes,
Um,
I am. Let's get the interesting one out of the way.
I would advise them to please do not. They know what I'm talking about.
No Godwin's law.
Just please do not refrain. Have some dignity. However, we all know they won't.
This is true.
We can all say that. That's not. I don't even think that's a partisan take.
I don't think it's a partisan take. I think it's just a natural law that CNN, it's kind of like MSNBC or any media outlet. They all have their biases, and anymore, it's not even journalistic integrity. They just wear them on their sleeve.
I would have advised them to cancel the debate because this can only lower their perception in the eyes of America.
In the absence of telling them to cancel it last minute, any other advice?
Um, make sure it's well lit. You know, basic recording stuff.
Make sure, the moderators can speak English. They aren't drunk.
That too.
Honestly, I mean, I think maybe the drunk bit would make it more entertaining at this point.
You know what would make it more entertaining at this point? Maybe just don't ever mute the candidates how they said they would. Just don't ever do that. I think that
Just
higher ratings.
don't let the moderators. Just keep the moderators out of it and let the two old guys go at it.
All right. What about you, Robert?
All right. First off, there is no way that I would have put Tapper and Bash over it. In fact, I don't know of any notable enough media figure at CNN that I would have put them as a moderator for that debate. I would have, what was it, and I'm going to go back to the Republican primaries a bit. I believe it was the one run by, what is it, Newsmax? They actually reached out and got Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly previously worked at Fox, but now she basically just runs her own podcast. And so she is not affiliated with a media network. So they actually got someone that was not associated with their organization to run the debate. I would have advised CNN to do that just because if shit did go sideways, they could blame that.
That's pretty good.
And I mean, there's no way if I was CNN, I would turn down hosting a debate. There's no way I would cancel it last minute because viewers. But at the same point, I would have, given the perception of bias, I would have taken considerable efforts to avoid it. But that being said, I believe your general CNN audience likes that bias. So I believe they are, to an extent, playing to the audience that they have. But in this case, it's going to be watched by more than just their audience. So I think that's why they should have differentiated somewhat.
Yeah, they're gonna with how early this is and how much it's, for lack of a better word, been kind of hyped up. It's they're definitely gonna draw the entirety of the national audience that are
Yeah.
interested in this. It's not gonna just be CNN audience.
I mean, the one thing that I have seen come out of this that I have real questions about is that supposedly, according to CNN's own polling, something about 60 to 70% of American voters have said that they intend to watch the debate and that they believe it will actually be important. Now, I have barely asked 60 or 70 people their thoughts on this debate, but most of the people that I've spoken with could quite candidly not give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the yeah, I almost called them Canadians. Both of the candidates are known commodities. People know what they are. The only thing I personally think might be in the cards for tonight would be if Biden screws up badly enough that they would try and swap him out because that movement does seem to be gaining some momentum.
All right, should we
But
move
yeah,
on to the next question then?
yep. So the next one is, as a consultant, business or political, how would you advise the Biden campaign ahead of this debate?
Ooh, all right. No, no, I'm
I,
trying to take this serious. I'm trying to take not jokes answers.
I'm going to say one that I am completely serious about, and I don't mean it as a joke.
Go ahead.
Don't, don't, just no, no. Biden's public speaking has been a disaster in recent months. Um, there are very real concerns about his mental faculties. And I'm not going to pretend those aren't based on some degree of reality. I don't see a world in which it is intelligent for them to have agreed to debate Trump.
It's not even that they agreed; they offered, right?
I think Trump goaded them into having to do it more or less.
Mm. So I think what I'm gonna say, and this is genuine, right? Is don't if I were, on his staff, I would say don't give Trump an easy win with gotcha answers. Um, Try to keep. I mean, you're working with the people that set up this debate. Stay on topic. Um, Try not to speak too long. I think Biden can give at most like 45-second answers before it becomes a wild card situation. Make the usage of the TV ads, no matter what Trump says, if Trump, has any sass about it, and make sure he's on the good stuff before before the debate starts.
I think Trump's even said, they're going to give him a jab of something in the ass to keep him functioning for 90 minutes.
I think is the next question going to be related to Trump? Then like the next.
Yes, there is one other thing I want to point out
Okay.
with in what I would advise for Biden, which is that have him talk as little as possible.
Hmm.
Biden's economic message has flopped. Biden's immigration message has flopped. There is not much Biden can do at this point to win voters. He only risks losing them. Similarly, with Trump, I think that the Biden camp would be better served by trying to get Trump to screw up than trying to actually win of their own action within this debate. I don't think Biden has the quick wittedness to play this kind of game at this point. And I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm literally just saying what I see.
All right, then should we move on to the Trump side of the question?
So, yes, as a consultant, business or political, how would you advise the Trump campaign ahead of the debate?
All right, I got a little bit of a list here. So first off, do not bring up Hunter Biden. That is my first thing for Trump. It is not an easy win. It doesn't make you look good. It's just an easy clapback prepared answer for Biden. That's all it is. And
I, can
that
I
go ahead.
can I offer a rebuttal to that real quick?
What?
I think that he should. I think it would be foolish not to, given some of the things that have changed today, because Trump, in the last debate with Biden, brought up the Hunter Biden situation, the laptop scandal, and all of that.
Yeah, I was
And
referring to the conviction. Like, don't bring up the
oh,
conviction.
not the conviction. I would bring up the Hunter Biden thing because in that debate, Trump made that comment, and CNN's fact checkers labeled him a liar. And if they're going to be fact checking things, watch them fact check that.
True, but I was more bringing up the like the
Not the
conviction.
conviction. No,
Yeah,
I would
that
not
that
bring up
is
the
a
conviction.
sympathetic case for Biden, and then Biden can easily answer like, "Well, I respect the law system, even if it goes after my son." That's it. That's all he has to say, right?
Yep.
Next, I would say if Biden has any more time left on the table after answering something, Trump should toss it back to Biden and force him to keep speaking.
Yes. Make Biden talk. That
Yep.
is that is Biden is his own worst enemy.
Exact. In the same way,
Make him
though,
talk
in the same way, Trump is also his own worst enemy. In that,
to a degree. Yeah.
in the first debates in 2020, it was widely believed that Biden handled Trump pretty well because Trump went fucking crazy. Mine,
Yes. In the especially the first debate.
yeah,
Uh and I believe in that. I think that was the one where he was actually sick because like 2 days later he tested positive for COVID and was out of it for like a week, I think. But even still, that like being sick does not change whether you win or lose a debate. Like that's not a thing in that moment in that debate. The clips that are taken that determines whether you won or lost,
exactly.
not the situation surrounding it. Your average person isn't going to give a damn about anything surrounding it. So yeah, what else do you have for him? What else would you have for him?
Um, I'm trying to think. I had one more thing. Stick to the facts, right? If you're gonna bring up Hunter Biden, like you said, bring up the laptop. Bring up how that was, literally ruled a thing, and how that was, you could even use that as a response because they're gonna say January 6th, Austrian painter, right? And you can say, how
Yeah,
about for election interference? How about you guys literally election interference by, like a week, a month before the election, you guys said that all of this was fake. You know, like
yeah,
you can use it in that sense. You could use it sticking to the facts in the sense of when I was president, there was no major conflicts in the world. The inflation rate was at the historical norms. But the economy was doing great. The border, it wasn't. I couldn't even bring up, as he likes to say in his rallies. He's like, I couldn't even bring up the border. The border was already solved when I was a president.
kind of. That's what he's been saying. All right.
And I guess the last thing is don't try to get into a shit flinging match with Joe Biden because you can't get in Joe Biden's head. Joe Biden's not in his head.
uh, I think. Wait, I think you might be onto something there. Uh, right. I do think because Trump has, in this regard, like what I would be advising Trump to do is to start the debate by eradicating CNN's credibility as moderators. The moment they bring up a criminal case, did you know that Jake Tapper is facing $1 billion lawsuit for defaming a military veteran who founded a security firm and claimed that he was dealing in black market services in Afghanistan, costing him considerable profits? Were you aware of that?
I was not.
Yep. There are a lot of security firms that it's not, think of them like private military contractors, but many of them provide services where if you are a private citizen working in an unstable country, you pay them a monthly fee. If shit goes tits up, then they will send in their people to evacuate you and your family. That was, to my understanding, what that company did. And Jake Tapper started claiming that this fellow and his company, which is a perfectly legal model. There are a lot of companies that do this for businessmen working in certain countries. In this case, it was Afghanistan. And quite honestly, this was a bad look. So if they bring up anything about integrity, Trump should hammer them. Anytime they bring up anything about integrity, Trump should hammer CNN on that above all else. Anything about that, debate it with CNN instead of debating with Biden, because there is a lot to go after there. And considering that there's no way that there's not a world in which I see CNN being an independent minded moderator. I just don't see it. So that would be one of the pieces of advice I'd give him. The other is that I would make him make Joe Biden talk as much as possible,
Yeah.
because you cannot make Biden look as bad in it by debating him as he can make himself look at debating anything, because there is just no way that I have a hard time believing that he has the ability to function throughout the whole debate outside of, you know, a shot of the good stuff.
Actually, on that point, I think Trump has already kind of made a mistake in this part, in that he might have cost himself dearly in the battle of perception. In that he's built up Biden so much to be very incompetent. You know, even we've been joking about it, how like Biden can't even complete a sentence. You know, right?
Yeah.
When if you set the bar that low, he might be able to overcome that bar if the bar is set that low. So I think he should, I think the messaging should have been that Biden's going to be on his A game. They're going to give him the best stuff. No horse tranquilizers for the next few weeks. Like he's going to be all on all sorts of stuff. He's going to be the best he's looked in years.
Yep.
And I think that should have been the messaging going in and being like, don't fall for it. This is not how Biden is. You know, it should have been like that rather than like, is he wearing a diaper? Stuff.
To that extent, I think you might be right. On the same hand, I think that this debate is happening so early that, and I believe it's happening this early because the Biden camp fully expects him to screw up. But speaking of the bar being low, I suppose the next thing we need to move on to is, what do each of these groups need to do within this debate just to meet the most basic standards?
All
So
right.
let's start with CNN. So Colton,
Mm-hmm.
what does CNN need to do to meet the most basic standards of their role in this debate?
I think I think the thing that'll be the most, either depending on how heinous it is if the fact checkers are just, if it's so blatant and like it just becomes a meme. I think they need to not be that. You know, like imagine instead of it being like, a fact checking, like where it's like a paragraph or something, it's just like a picture. Like the Deservo Winometer, right? Like on the websites.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, for whatever Biden says, green. Whatever Trump says, red. Like it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that clear.
Yes. Uh, that is true. On this end, I don't think it's the basics that CNN needs is the ability, in my eyes, is the ability to appear unbiased. I believe that ship has sailed. I don't see a world in which case, because of this, where this does not wind up hurting the mass market's opinion of CNN. I just don't see it.
All right, should we move on to the next part then?
Yep. Next up is what are the most basics that Biden needs to do in this debate to not lose the support he currently has.
Stick to his canned answers. Don't be goaded by Trump into speaking more, and be on his best stuff.
Be on the good stuff. Yeah. Uh, I'm 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 going to throw this out as I think it has to be said. I think that Biden not only I think the standards are very low for him. He needs to not, I don't know, claim that he was part of the moon landing, or he didn't fist fight I don't know, Kim Jong Il back in the day, or anything like any of like the crazy shit he says. Like he has to avoid that. He has to avoid just the wanton garbled speech. And moreover, I believe that he has to refrain from the appearance of anything between during those commercial breaks, because at any point, if Trump sees something like that, even if it's during one of those breaks, there is no way he won't call it out during the middle of like his next speech. Look, hey, we're on the topic of this, but seriously, what the hell are you guys doing? Uh, Literally 5 minutes ago, while we were on a commercial break, this guy fell over on stage, couldn't stand anymore. Something like that could play hell for Biden. Even if it's not on camera, it's something believable, you know?
I don't know if I'd advise Trump to do that, but maybe he could say it like in a rally afterwards.
You-
Just
I
the amount of no's everybody around him is gonna give, like the on-screen like ticker fact checker's gonna be like, no, he didn't. The the moderator's gonna be like, he totally didn't, and then Biden's gonna be like, what? You know?
Now listen here, Jack. But yeah, I think that Biden basically just needs to give the appearance of being a reasonably functioning human being in order to not lose support. Because I don't think you really have any Biden fans so much as you have anti-Trump people,
Hmm.
and that I don't think he's going to lose people unless they just see that he is clearly incapable of anything. Like if he soils himself on stage.
Yeah.
So next up, what does Trump need to do at the basics, like the most basic things that Trump needs to do not to lose support during this debate?
Don't give up any sound clips that can be used against him. I think in reality, this isn't gonna do much against his base. I think he just needs to not give them ammo against him for moderates.
I don't think that there is anything Trump can do in this debate that will in any way harm him. The people that vote for him do not trust CNN. Uh, I honestly, I don't see this being like, it may make the anti-Trumpers more ravenous, but I don't see it taking away his people.
Hmm.
So, you know, yeah, on his end, I don't know. Don't come out and you know goose stepping and reading Mein Kampf. Don't do anything that validates Orange Man is Austrian painter. But at the same point, what I do have to say is that he should bring up a lot of these topics that they are accusing him of being like Austrian painter with. Uh, just so in doing that, not so much to goad Biden, but because his stances on some of that stuff are actually really popular. Um, like it's crazy, but on in Trump's immigration policies versus Biden's, Trump is at better than 50% among both Hispanic women and men for them preferring his policies on immigration. So yeah, let let them just ignore them calling you Austrian painter. Say what you're saying because it's clearly at this point a winning message. So next up, what is the best possible outcome for hosting this debate for CNN.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't see this as anything except as negative for their brand. Their
I think
national
that
brand.
their national brand, yeah, I don't see it. I think maybe status quo. Their audience is overwhelmingly very ravenous to the left, staunchly anti-orange man. They can play to that audience, but I don't think it'll really grow them anything. Like if they go hard enough, maybe they can eat some of the audience from MSNBC.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they can get like some sound bites for the Biden campaign.
Maybe. Uh, but yeah, I don't see much in the way of good coming for CNN from this. So next up, what is the best possible outcome for Biden?
Like as a human or like as his campaign.
Let's go with both.
As a human, he gets replaced. The poor man needs to be in care. Um,
He does. He does.
for his campaign, I think the best positive thing that could happen is that he doesn't make any of his famous gaffes, and it's just a really boring debate.
I think that the best thing that could happen for this is automatically guaranteed to happen because it's happening so early. And I think that is that this debate will be promptly forgotten.
True.
Um, I think him managing to be present for 90 minutes without talking about, I don't know, the time he went drinking with aliens, or I don't know, maybe how he's, reconciled things with Corn Pop, and that's going to be his VP pick, or I don't know, shitting himself on stage. All of which, I hate to say this, but I can't write that kind of stuff off as things that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be on his best stuff today. I think it's gonna be pretty boring.
But yeah, I think that barring stuff like that, like maybe try and make a humanitarian case. But if this goes into economics, if this goes into immigration, that's all ground where Trump is winning. And Biden does not have a winning message. Not that he's a very good delivery man for that message either way.
I don't even have high expectations that those issues will be brought up, even though they're the most important to the American people, just because of how this debate is structured.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff will be avoided. I think they're going to ignore all of this and focus on fitness for the job. That's what I think. But lastly, what is the best possible outcome for Donald Trump in the Trump campaign?
Um, Beating the left's allegations that no, you actually Trump has dementia, not Biden. I think that would be the best thing for Trump is to just totally be like, you guys saw me standing next to him for an hour and a half. You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I think that I think the best possible thing for Trump would be if the moderators ask questions on economics
True.
or immigration. I don't think they will. They might. I would like to be proven wrong. I would like to actually, see this be a debate about substance, I guess, with substance, excuse me, substance, rather than, just a debate on who's fit for office and orange man, mustache man, and Biden supposedly being the second coming of Jesus. I I honestly think that just by being on that stage, given everything. At this point, like, I don't think anybody can make a case that this is a debate that was made with I cannot imagine someone thinking that this debate was set up to not be one-sided.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't see that being a thing. Like, it's very hard to make that case. And quite honestly, I think that more or less just by being there and letting basically giving Biden a chance to, be hoisted on his own petard, as it were, is you know, kind of is already kind of a win in that regard,
Hmm.
just because Biden is so bad at public speaking. I honestly do think this will probably be the only debate. I suspect the other one will be canceled.
Yeah, I have the same feeling.
But yeah. So, was there anything else that in this that you felt needed to be discussed?
No, I think we pretty much got everything. What about you?
Yeah, I think we've done as much damage as we can. So, with that being said, to all of you poor bastards still listening, thank you for doing so. We hope we've been entertaining and maybe educational. I don't know. I don't think we're very educational, Colton. Do you?
I'd say maybe halfway informative.
Halfway informative. All right, I'll live with that. But tomorrow, or possibly tonight, depending on how things go, we'll be recording a follow up to the debate to sort of assess how the candidates did and what our takeaways were from the debate, not on you know the policies they discussed, but just mostly purely relevant to their performance and how they actually managed to do under the circumstances. So, with that being said, thank you all for listening and have a wonderful day.
Have a good one, folks.
Take care.